snow. Chris Champagne, Board Vice Chair.
Lorena Scully, Board Member.
Jeremy Tomaszewski, Senior Representative.
We will start with the Board and Administrative Communications, starting with the Bungie Building Committee. Mr. Stramello, anything to report?
Okay, well, we're in the process now of looking to hire not a construction manager, but a manager of the project. So we're going out and getting bids for that. And then next will be the architect. So we're in that stage. I didn't realize there were so many hoops you have to jump through, but it's amazing. Oh, we're progressive, which is good. That's about it.
Any questions about the Bungie Building Committee?
I have a very quick question. I don't know who's appropriate to do it, but there's already been some online chatter related to our budget where people are saying, we've already given you money for the building, and there could probably use some clarification coming from, again, I don't know who is best to put it out there, but no money has been given yet, and there's a process in place for that, so.
Yeah, and it doesn't even affect the budget or anything till 2028. We'll get someone to do a clarification on that because people are confused.
Okay, next are Seymour Champion recognitions. This month we're recognizing perseverance, and we start with Bungie School.
Yeah.
All right, this month I nominated one of my students, Lucas Del Sol, right up here. Lucas is deserving of Seymour Champion this month, as he has not only demonstrated perseverance in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. He works hard and wants to do well and improve in everything he does. If I challenge him with something, he takes it on and is motivated to persevere and do well. He proved this with his extra math effort, as he earned all 4 math operation certificates, and is on the Advanced 3-Second program now. And actually, I have a certificate because he earned his advanced one earlier too, probably. Luke has also proved this by not only meeting his math testing goals for both math and reading, but absolutely obliterated his goals by improving 19 points in math and 32 points in reading. He also has demonstrated perseverance outside of the classroom on the ski mode. He has shared how he had been trying to master a court 360 ski trick, but it had taken him over a week of persistent effort, and finally he was successful. He even shared a video with the class. Luke has demonstrated perseverance in and out of the classroom in many more ways that I can go on and on about. No matter what happens, Lucas is a true Seymour champion.
They wear them. It's amazing. High school kids do that sometimes.
I used to be like that sometimes.
Didn't you?
Yeah. Not this cold
Okay.
though. Not this cold.
I gave this honor to Amelia Miller. Amelia is such a hardworking student. When I looked at the definition for perseverance, it was defined as dedication, determination, and grit. I'm going to ask that grit to complete something despite challenges, discouragement. Amelia never stops trying to understand or figure out the answer. She always advocates for herself and gives her very best at every task asked of her. So, even though she may be tiny, she is definitely
She's really small, so cute.
Parks.
So for those who don't know, I'm Jim Freund, I'm currently the substitute administrator down there, and our Seymour administrator. But anyway, I'd like to call up first JR Kohak. Kosan? JR here? Well, JR has been working hard. He's not only an overtime for persistence, he's been working hard. Maybe we get him on another agenda
Yeah.
next time. I'll hold it up.
Stay up there with him, Mr. Floyd.
So this is Juana Jimenez, and she is a fifth grade student at Chapel Cresty School. So Juana is the type of student who follows our CLS flag and comes to school ready to learn and work hard each day. She's a focused student who perseveres through every task and assignment. She's also always willing to help try to get others to see her thinking and also listens to what they have to share as well. She learns from her mistakes and takes the next steps that are necessary for that challenge. The higher order thinking question today, math, she got to it, she got going with it, reworked some things out, ended up coming through with a success with that, and she's just a wonderful role model for our class. So Juana Jimenez.
From the Seymour Middle School White Team, Sophia Cowler, please come forward. This is an extraordinary young lady. Sophia Cowler came to the United States from Ukraine 4 years ago, speaking little to no English. Through determination and hard work, she has not only learned the language, but she has become an honor student at Seymour Middle School. Sophia works hard every day to earn strong grades while navigating the challenge of mastering English as a second language. Even when lessons and assignments take extra time to understand, she never gives up and always puts forth her best effort. Her perseverance, positive attitude, and willingness to ask for help demonstrates how committed she is to improving. She perseveres on a daily basis. Through dedication and resilience, Sophia continues to grow both academically and in her confidence. She is a wonderful example of what it means to persevere, and we are proud to recognize her as one of this month's Seymour champions. Congratulations. Do we have more family here? Okay. For our next student from Seymour Middle School, I'd like to call up our school social worker, Mrs. Karen Stubby, and from the Gold team, Mr. Esposito. And at this time, I'd like to call up from the Seymour Middle School 8th grade Gold team, Mr. Colin Ridley.
Colin Ridley has demonstrated remarkable growth both academically and socially throughout his 3 years at SMS. He has overcome many academic, social, and physical challenges in his life. And as we all know, middle school can be one of the most difficult stages for students. Through perseverance, Colin has learned the true meaning of a productive struggle and has trusted the adults around him to teach him the skills needed to overcome obstacles and continue to grow. In doing so, he now helps others by modeling and communicating that it's okay to feel uncomfortable and to struggle, as those moments are essential for improvement and growth. Those of us who have known Colin since he entered SMS have
saying that he truly embodies perseverance and has fully embraced the skill. We could not be more proud to present him with the award. The whole thing can come off too.
Why don't you guys come, all family, all family. All over.
It's hard. He's got a big fan club, that's a good thing. His family's big, I thought.
I'd like to introduce Ms. Spano, one of our guidance counselors at the high school. She's here representing herself and Mrs. Laura Chili, who nominated Valeria for the Perseverance Champion.
So I actually showed my speech to Mr. Lucky the other day, and he told me it was too long. Usually you're only there that long, and I kind of looked at him like, you're kidding me, right? Like, I can't, he's like, cut it down. I can't cut this down. Like, anything you can do, I would talk about Valeria, because she's just so wonderful. Whenever I think of a student who's truly persevered at Seymour High School, Valeria is the first thing that comes to my mind. She immigrated from Ecuador at the start of her sophomore year. She's currently a senior. And since then, she has truly defied the odds often associated with being a newcomer student. She continuously challenges herself, not only by immersing herself in the English language, but also by enrolling in rigorous coursework such as AP Calculus, Honors Physics, and Advanced Engineering classes, which is truly remarkable. Valeria is a student that I can always count on. She is a leader among our newcomers and Spanish-speaking students, and has become the lead mentor of our new BSL program, which we just officially started last year. She helps students who come from Spanish-speaking countries successfully transition to Seymour High School. Beyond our building, Valeria extends her impact through the Kindercats program, where she mentors Spanish-speaking students in kindergarten, showing that leadership truly knows no age limits. Valeria plans to attend college in the fall to study aerospace engineering, with the ambitious goal of becoming an astronaut. While in college, she plans to participate in the Air Force ROTC program, with the intention of becoming an Air Force officer upon graduation. I have no doubt that with her motivation and determination, she will truly reach these goals. I've already told her that when she makes it to space, she needs to send me a message and a picture. And Mr. Shelley and Mr. Scott, because he'll get pretty upset about In her college essay, Valeria shared a quote by Descartes that deeply resonates with her. The quote was, "I think, therefore I am." Having worked very closely with Valeria since she transferred to Seymour High School, I can clearly see how these 5 simple words define her. Through her decisions and her actions, she continues to grow, push boundaries, and break glass ceilings, proving that motivation paired with courage and hard work truly has no limits. Congratulations.
Well, she's a great kid. Good job, Mom.
Thank you. We want to recognize AP scholars today.
Okay. Stephanie, are there was some last month that wasn't able to attend?
So last month, we honored 42 AP scholars, and you're going to find out tonight, we are a silver school for AP scholar work. We'll talk a little bit more in our school improvement plan. Last week was 42, including juniors and seniors. We honored the juniors here, the seniors have moved on. There were 4 that could not attend. So AP scholars, Layla Dickens and Angelina Ricchio. Anybody here? And AP Scholar with Honors, we have Kenya Asif and James Byrne.
We have our student reports. We're missing
Yeah,
Daphne tonight.
Alright. So, sort of National Honor Society students have been participating in different events throughout our building and community. They offered midterm study sessions for our students prior to exams. And for February, they're looking to spread kindness and love throughout the building by leaving little conversation of kindness hearts for staff and students. They're also pairing up with the Seymour Cares Animal Shelter to run a drive throughout the month, collecting necessary items for the shelter. And they're hosting a blood drive in March open to staff and students. The Student Council has begun planning for spring activities such as Powder Puff and some senior activities. They have created 4 committees that will address and bring a voice to our school community. These committees are academic policy, community service, public relations, and student life. They continue to meet weekly or as a whole in their committees. Student Council is also selling chocolate roses in the CAF next week for Valentine's Day. Hope Club, over the next 2 months, they'll be making cards to send to soldiers and Valentine's Day cards for patients at Shady Knoll. And they'll put together toiletry kits for the homeless and working on a student need closet at the high school. Our sports, our girls basketball team has been ripping through the NBL. They're currently 15-1 with 4 games remaining in the regular season. And they're ranked number 1 in Division III for the state and number 1 in the NBL. Our boys team is 3-10 and improving every day and is currently on a 2-game win streak. The boys swim team is currently 6-1 for the first time reaching that record since 2017. They'll take on Naugatuck next week and is what to be expected in a highly competitive meet. The indoor track team competed the NBL championship on Friday. The girls placed 4th, finishing on top of half of the NBL for the first time since 2022. The boys finished 5th, earning multiple PRs and season bests with opportunities to adjust relays ahead of the state meet. Currently, 17 athletes have qualified for states on February 13th. The cheer team competed Saturday in Woolpit and placed 4th out of 17 teams. They'll also compete next week at Naugatuck Valley in the Valley. The dance team will also compete this Saturday at Ward's Dance Gym. We wish both teams the best of luck. Our yearbook club has just finished submitting our pages for our 1 deadline and have begun working on senior portraits, senior quotes, and senior superlatives for the next deadline. The art club is currently working on independent artistic endeavors, and this month they are starting to plan the background stage set for the performing arts show. The chess club is winding down their season, and they are meeting every week to play against each other. There have been some discussions about the players hosting a tournament in the school in the spring. Spanish club, for the month of February, they learned how to make pinatas. They will learn to make pinatas. They'll have about 3 meetings as a process, and pinata days to drive. A multicultural club. This is a new club in the works. They have a meeting to talk about what they can do. In the month of February, they will celebrate the Japanese Set-sun Bun and the Chinese New Year. Performing arts, they are currently working on a show highlighting different genre of songs from the 1990s. This show is tentatively scheduled for March 27th at 7 p.m. Practices are generally Mondays and Thursdays from 2 p.m. to 4:30, and some performing arts members and students in the honors ensembles class will be going to Chatfield Pretsky School to perform for the elementary students. Our environmental club is sponsoring a t-shirt design contest for Earth Day that they will turn into a fundraiser. And they are planning a field trip to the New England aquarium that is planned for April 7th. They have the opportunity to compare and contrast conversation efforts being made at second grade. The debate team is, the captains continue to lead practicing their procedures and protocol. The team plans on competing Saturday, February 7th in New Canaan and March 7th in Stanford. And our senior captains, Ellis Aragabi and New Year Shaw, will compete in state finals on Saturday, March 28th, held at Bethel High School. The Car Club, they're focusing their energy in building a brand new Electron race car for the spring race this April. And the students are hard at work in the machine shop and engineering labs using CNC machines, manual machines, and CAD programs. Robotics Club had gone to their first competition for the year at Massac High School. The team got ranked 54th, the A team got ranked 54th, the B team got ranked 25th, and the C team got 71st. One of our teams made it to the top 16 matches. With the first competition came answers to what they needed to fix and what they need to let go of or adjust in. With the truths in front of us, they have been constantly working to improve, and their next one is February 15th. The Newspaper Club have challenged the editors to double the output this year and produce 6 issues. Amelia Cardenas at the time at the beginning of the year, and they have strictly adhered to her plan and have produced 3 issues prior to winter break. And finally, FBLA is officially in competition season with the state conference taking place on March 17th. The students can access multiple resources, study guides, and practice quizzes to prepare for their competitions. The students spend meeting time studying and preparing materials for their events. Students also continue to improve the Spirit Shop after a successful launch in November. Line dancing still bringing positive energy on Tuesday mornings, and they show improvements every week and are planning on having afternoon lessons soon. Our Bible Club, they continue to meet every Friday from 2 to 3:30. Leadership is exploring different ideas to incorporate more games and demonstrations and activities that are connected to Bible study. Also, Nicholas DeLugo from Fellowship Christian Athletes donated 11 Bibles to the club. That's it, sorry. Best place is not updated.
Just a reminder to everyone, this Wednesday, the girls' game at home versus Thomaston, who's 12-1, and we have 1 loss also, is going to be the game of the week for one of the news stations. And then Mr. Stramell, like this, on Friday, hopefully we'll go to the showdown at Ansonia at 6 o'clock with the Ansonia team, hopefully has 1 loss, which is 2 less for the Harrisons.
Yeah.
Please come.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Great job, Jeremy.
We'll take a brief recess. You're welcome to stay. Certainly, public comment is coming up. Comment. Going once, public comment going twice, public comment going for a 3rd time. Do any board members have questions about the reports? All right. Time for the Seymour High School School Improvement Plan.
What would you like? Good?
Right there, that's good.
Okay. So So, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here. We're going to be presenting our school improvement plan. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to try to keep it pretty short, and you can ask, obviously, whatever questions you need to ask. We're very, very proud of the commitment of our students, staff, community, and kids, more sport especially, and the improvements they've made. Start with our mission and core beliefs. Obviously, we're here to inspire these kids so that they can graduate with some great character and be driven by lifelong learning and intrinsic motivation. We want them giving back to the community. We want them to have meaningful experiences and connections with each other. And we want them to have a diverse experience. With that, we've also been incorporating our vision of a graduate, which we'll get into much more in depth, and you'll see it from the years to come. It's going to become more and more embedded in everything we do. As I've talked about in previous years, this is the context in the land of change. With it comes some problems, but with it also comes the beauty of what you've seen tonight with two of our students who are new to the district and what they can do and what they bring to us. But it's always good to just be aware of what's happening and kind of the trend data that's there. So you can see that from the years past up to now, there's a great increase in students who are considered to be high needs, and that's 3 different categories. Students who are in special education status, free and reduced meals, or have English as a second language. And you can see there's a little bit of difference in the dates. The state started calculating this data a year after some of the other data that we've recorded in the past. But you can see there's a big jump in that. And there's some jump in our special needs students and a huge jump in our free and reduced. So that tells us that more students are in need in our buildings and require more resources. Typically, and I've been tracking this for about 5 years, at the December point, we get anywhere from 30 to 35 new students at Seymour High School. So that's also changing what's happening in the building. 50% come from high needs schools. By the end of the school year, we're typically at 40 to 45 new students. And we also lose students. So what that also tells me is that our school is composed basically of 1/4 of new students who have not gone through a K-8 system. So again, it poses some challenges, but also brings some beauty to our school and diversification that we certainly need so that we can fulfill our missions and be a diverse society and understand other students. NEASC, as you know, is a central part of what we're doing and is driving what we're doing. They came last year, as I said. We're in the implementation of priority stage. They'll be back next March. They've identified, as I told you in the past, 4 different core areas. The first was the vision of a graduate. And I'm very proud to say that we've been working with our PDEC committee and Mr. Elecna. And he has brought down to the other administrators who are more than willing to adopt our core competencies that are in our vision of a graduate. So it's now starting to be exposed at the elementary and the middle school levels. I also attended a meeting with Dr. Compton, which was a superintendent's meeting. And the NEASC representatives were there discussing the potentiality of most districts in Connecticut adopting a K-12 NEASC process, which could turn into your strategic plan if you all decide to go that way. But the core concept of any of that is vision of a graduate. So I'm very happy to have Mr. Elected with me and the other administrators buying into that concept. And again, you're going to see this more and more as the years go on because it's going to really define what we do and where we go. The second priority, part of the NEASC was to develop a consistent curriculum across the board. And again, with Mr. Elected here, I'm proud to say that he's really looking in depth, and he spoke to our PDEC about adopting a 5-year cycle, which is, I've been here a long time, as you know, and we don't have that. And I'm really elated about that because some of our curriculum is a little bit older, and it really needs to get into that cycle so that we're refreshing every 5 years. So I'm super happy to be working with him, and he presented that out also to the PDEC committee so that we have all the constituents in the buildings that are aware of it, including the teachers union, to help us on board to develop this priority standard, not only for the high school, but K-12. The third priority that we identified was with technology. From my perspective, the biggest piece gap that I have is someone who could deal with SQL reporting and data reporting. You know, we want to make more and more informed decisions based on data. We need to have the data more readily accessible and not have to spend an inordinate amount of time to weed through it to get to that data. I'm hoping that once Mr. Elected gets a lot of this going, that he is going to be our guy. Traditionally, I've known him to be very data heavy when he was at CLS as a principal, and I think he has a good sense about that, and he has a proven track record of making decisions on his data and how well CLS has done over the years. So I'm hoping to gather some of his expertise with that, but with that, we're also taking a look at using the department chairs to help on the data piece so that we can get the data out faster to all of our teachers so they can make better informed decisions based on data. The last piece is our Library Media Center, and I'm also extremely happy and proud that the board approved Dr. Compton's budget, which incorporates replacing the teacher that we're losing this year to retirement with the library media specialist. The ask actually came last Friday. They wanted to see in my plan what we were going to do, and I think they were quite pleased at what we're going to do to modernize that space. And I've been working with Dr. Compton and Mr. Bucci to require some funding that was necessary in order to make it a modern space, which would include having podcast stations, video stations, green screens, photography stations, incorporating our current Mac lab into that area, and getting some additional pieces of computers, as well as, and most importantly, getting the proper subscriptions to scholarly resources. So right now, a lot of the kids are doing a lot of the research based on what they find online, right? Teachers are doing a good job as they can in the class, helping them weed through that to see what is appropriate or not. But the library media specialist is going to be our go-to person to do that, and not only teach the students, but also teach the staff. What's the appropriate resources and the appropriate subscriptions, resources that are scholarly so we can get them prepared to move on to the next level. Will they be required to use those types of resources in order to do their research at the collegiate level or the military, wherever else they go? So I think it's very important, a key component for us moving forward. It's modernizing the space, providing the training, and getting somebody who's really tech savvy to help not only classes coming down, but to go get PD out to our staff on how to use these particular resources. So that's kind of our plan, where we're going with that. I did hand NEASC a 35-page, about 5 to 7 pages of written, but I personally went and measured the entirety of the media center and drew out by hand where everything is going to go and how we're going to do it. And I have talked to some teachers in the building what they thought was best, and I think we have a really solid plan going forward.
And the NEAS guy, the consultant, was very pleased. We met with him, and he was very pleased with the vision and the common areas, and he really was. So it was, but Mr. Lucky put a lot of work into it.
So I think we're in a good shape in terms of this part of the school improvement, and also in terms of the vision of a graduate. What we're going to do at the high school to help kind of move our process along is the social studies and English teachers are going to pilot this last marking period. They're going to take an assignment that kind of already exists within the curriculum they're teaching, and then they're going to teach a lesson on the vision of a graduate, and then match up whichever of the areas that match with that and utilize those rubrics. So we'll have a baseline so that when we go into the summer, we can discuss and come back with a plan for adoption for the rest of the building at the high school, and then serve as a model should we choose to do the K through 12 NEASC evaluation. So we're moving forward in each of these areas because they're coming back in March, and if we have to show progress, right? They don't need to see it completed, but we need to show progress. In terms of the curriculum at the high school, I have some really good people helping to work on that now. We can't write the curriculum, but I had my department chair, who's one of the co-chairs of my NEAS committee here in Scazafava, put together a big spreadsheet so that we can catalog every course we have in the building, does it have curriculum in it, when the curriculum is written, so that we can give them Mr. Electa to help him see our needs at the high school and where we should start. So he's taking that and incorporating that with his findings in the elementary and middle school to help determine which subject areas are going to be starting in the first phase of the curriculum cycle. Because you can't start them all, it's going to be impossible. So once we get into this, though, it will be a very good cycle to have. So every 5 years, you get a new curriculum.
So
NEASC is driving our 3 areas of the strategic triad. So academic growth of our school improvement plan, we focus on standards of excellence, AP, SAT, NGSS. We've been doing a lot of work with NGSS. Meeting diverse learning needs. Goal number 2, social and emotional learning, which you'll see a little bit further. Targeted interventions for attendance, anxiety, and at-risk students plays a lot into what we've been working on with GRIT, also incorporating GRIT into our school. And then 3, family engagement, which I think we're doing fantastic on this year, focused on moving from informing to engaging the community, the parents, the guardians, the students. So, goal number 1, academic growth. If you look at this trending chart, so this is the number of students who have or are taking an AP, CTE, workplace, or dual enrollment course in our school. The seniors, 100% of seniors last year took it. These juniors are current seniors, we're at 96.2%. We actually expect that to go up again this year with our current seniors. Our key targets, increase proficiency by 3%. That's a realistic goal. We want to see at least 3% growth. NGSS, multiple practice assessments. I've been doing a lot of work with NGSS. It's actually my personal goal this year as an administrator to get those scores up. We've done things like meeting with PLCs multiple times, coming up with plans, getting them linked into better interim assessments. So that is moving. And then AP, integration of practice questions and daily coursework. We also have an increase in AP. Next year we have AP calculus.
Pre-calc.
Business. So this is the departmental action plan. We had them put together an action plan and then steps on how they are going to actually get that increase in the academic goals. So English and business, for instance, is going to focus on craft and structure and expression of ideas. We noticed when we're looking at the subsets of SATs that that's where the weakness is. And so that's where we can kind of focus. And weakness meaning maybe the weakness is that they're almost proficient, they're not quite proficient. That, if we can get them over that line, or if we can take somebody who's low performing and get them up into at least almost meeting, we want to see that growth from them. Math is going to work on numeracy, utilization of the educator, question bank, implementation of intensive exam prep week. Science, NGSS realignment. We did realign almost the entire program for how we laid it out. New Science Matters course is coming to help our lower level students engage in chemistry. Sometimes they struggle because of that math, taking that math and algebra, they're not quite there by that time. And incorporation of tied interim assessments across the courses. Social studies is going to work on command of evidence. I remember as an English teacher, that was like the biggest thing. Like, we were great, you have evidence, what are you going to do with it? And that is really going to be something that they're going to be focusing on in social studies. PE and health is embedding text on stress management, support sustained attention during assessments. Goal 2 is social emotional. So if you look at the cycle, you have anxiety, health issues, chronic absenteeism, and academic decline. We know this is what we're up against in our world right now, in our school right now. So here are some of the interventions that we've been working with. Bi-weekly at-risk meetings, including all the stakeholders. And we discuss individual cases and make individual plans for these students. Focus group protocols, individualized interventions with students with attention issues. So our target is to reduce chronic absenteeism from 20% to 18%. We feel that that's a realistic goal for us to achieve this year. One of the things we have is the attendance officer that has been helping.
We have tardy officers, and then we have some person that's also a tardy officer who's been looking at the attendance data in order to help us reduce the volume of absenteeism.
So they're identifying students so that we bring those students to at-risk meeting, or I'm making the phone call, or they're making the phone calls. We're sending letters home.
We've done home visits.
Yes.
Through the process also. Trying to get things to come back in. If you look at the data holistically, the high schools are always higher, just so you know, compared to all the elementary schools. And though this number doesn't look perfect, I did look at the other schools in the valley, and there's only one school that does actually better than us at that number. Joe?
Question, do you want to listen now or after? Or?
After.
Sure, okay. All right, so we,
About the one school now.
yeah,
Back to anxiety supports pathways and direct access to support staff for self-reporting students. And then another really cool thing that we have going on is peer mediation program, where student leaders become the mediator in situations. It cannot always happen, but we found some success with this.
and the students that are having a conflict, they volunteer, they don't have to do it with another student. But they've been through training, in-depth training,
Yeah.
for 5 days.
And then goal 3, stakeholder engagement. So kudos to Mr. Lucky for not only for his principal's newsletter, but I'm sure you've seen it on Facebook. I mean, we've got him out there. He's got a video, he's got it published, it's going out on every platform, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Which I don't.
Not to,
Oh, not TikTok yet. So that is something new. Departmental outreach. I kind of wanted to show you 2 examples. Jeremy left, but he was included in creation of one of them. Miss Monaco, I'm going to try this escape thing. I'll be quick. Uh-oh. What did I do, Derek? Oh, anyway, he told me. He gave me, I can't see. So
There it is.
I'll go to Jeremy's first. So Miss Monaco and Jeremy Tomaszewski have been working on creating an English department website. Where Jeremy kind of falls in is that there are videos. So if I were to go to, let's see, courses. We'll go to English. They'll have course description. Jeremy's been putting pictures in here. How would you describe? And then videos of the teachers talking about the curriculum or something cool that goes on in class. So we're hoping to, it's almost done. It just needs a little fine tuning, and it goes for every course that they have in the department, so that when the kids go and pick their schedules in March, they'll have this, there'll be reference to this during advisory. She's doing that with the English department, and Nicole Fearon is kind of taking the lead as well, and as the social studies department head, and she's created a newsletter as well, which does that. I mean, Jeremy made the videos. Nicole has what's going on, what's this class about, why should you take that class, and this is the quarterly report on that. So these are some of the communications that are coming out of our departments.
we're evolving in that. I have a grand scheme in the English department. It's doing an awesome job. Once we have that, then we're going to put that across all departments so that there's video representation of each possible course. Hopefully that will help also retain the incoming 8th graders who do come and visit, but also then the community can see what's going on, the parents can see what's going on. On top of that, once that's kind of done, I want a visual rack card system. Kind of like when you go on vacation and you walk out of the restaurant, there's all these different pamphlets there of what you could do.
Yeah.
So I want to have all the different pamphlets, both here at the middle school, both elementary schools and the high school, everything that's offered by department. So parents can pick up a pamphlet, or community members say, oh, look what's going on. So it's a long-term goal, it does take time to do, but I want the kids to do the work. So that's kind of the process, how it's going. Then they own it, we own it.
And they already are starting. Mr. Katniss is kind of piloting a little bit about what is our pamphlet going to look like. And the guidance department is working on, Mr. Coppola and Ms. Nelly have been working on creating pathways. For instance, if you want to be a police officer or cybersecurity, these are maybe some of the suggested courses that you can take. And we already have some of that already in our program of studies. But to put it in a pamphlet and a student can say, I want to be, an astronaut. What should I take? It's just a nice thing to have.
So it's a work in progress, but we're getting there.
And then Unified Arts, highlighting student praises and achievements through school-wide activities, which you hear about. And then feedback. You want to go ahead?
So I'm putting the CWE back in. We could do as much feedback as we could possibly do in any given day, but I am going to emphasize again, I think this is the catalyst to move us to the next level, is having somebody in CWE. This is the reason why. That person is going to be out in the public, right? If we do get the CWE, they're going to teach half time during the day. There's going to be that overlap till 4, 4:30, 5 o'clock. They'll be out in the community going to businesses. One of my goals immediately for that person, along with the rest of the guidance, would be to come up with a parent and community database of where everybody works and are they willing to take a job shadowing student or an intern student, or do they want to employ students. So again, the problematic piece of this is there is legislation, more especially for the employment part and anybody that's long-term internship, that that does not allow us to do that legally unless we have a CWA person. So I think this is the catalyst for that feedback loop to get more and more and more and more people involved, if we get to that point. So these are some of our scores for reading and math. We do want to increase the average scores. And the key indicators for graduation rate, we want to be better. The target is greater than 91%. In the ninth grade, this is a pretty good number. There's 96% of our ninth graders are on track to graduate. We want to bring the NGSS up back to those levels. We had a really bad year last year at NGSS. We want to continue the trend of advanced placement students where we have, this is almost reaching, one half of the school. Kids are taking AP courses. With that number of students and then the number of exams is just under that. So we have goals, and all of these things, that prior to me, when Mr. Freund was here, has been working on, myself and Mr. Cohn this year, that has led to us in AP status. 3 years ago we were bronze, 2 years ago we were silver, and we just got silver status again. In the silver status, we were actually gold in 2 areas, which is the next level. The only thing holding us back is the number of kids taking AP, believe it or not. But I know, because we're right underneath it, if they included all our dual enrollment courses, we would be platinum, we would be way beyond. So I'm hoping next year with the inclusion of the new AP pre-calc, as well as the AP business, that will push us into gold across the board. And as you know, 2 years in a row, U.S. News and World Report, top schools in Connecticut, and we went from like 86 school down to, I think it was a 57 school. We're making progress in the state of Connecticut. And with the U.S. News and World Report, the #1 school, excluding trouble, from Bridgeport all the way to Winstead, the #1 school in the entire India, from U.S. News and World Report scores. So we're definitely making progress. We're on the right track, and we have the right people to do it. So as I said, this is coming full circle back to the beginning. This is our vision of a graduate, and these are going to be the catalysts to push us forward. They're going to be embedded in our curriculum and what we do on an everyday basis. These were categories were chosen by students and staff and community members when it was originally written. There's rubrics and subcategories for each of these that are already written and done. And we're going to go full adoption as part of our EAS plan and what we need to be doing. And then, as I said, the district has already been working on it at different grade levels. Even integrating these concepts with the concepts we've heard in the past for PBIS, for behaviors in the hallways. So that work's already has begun with this role, that kind of integrating the vision of graduate with PBIS for different behaviors in different areas. And with that, if you have any questions, we'll gladly take them.
I have one. Was it 91 graduation rate?
Yes, 91% graduation.
And the 20% or 21% for the
Chronic.
absenteeism?
Yeah.
The absenteeism, yes.
I don't know if anybody here remembers. Year before, a couple years before, I don't know if it was the last presentation, we had a conversation about the alternative ed, the 18 and over kids. Are we still counting them?
Yes, so I did take a look at Ansonia, Derby, Naugatuck, Oxford, and Woodland. We're the only school that hasn't set up separate schools for alternative ed or the 18 to 24-year-old. All the other schools have done that, which means that their data is actually probably inflated when you look at it because all of those students are pulled out and not included in their entire data set where ours is. So, for example, our 18 to 24-year-olds have not graduated yet technically. And the state looks at them as staying back year after year after year. So it does hurt us when you go and look at the rankings on the back end.
It's a big deal, though, when you go and you're a separate school, but that's what they've done, is to make their scores be better. I didn't know that Woodland had done an alternative school.
So does that mean we're being honest and we're kind of not being honest, or
They're looking at it through a different lens.
Yeah.
It's just 6 and 1?
I'm not good at that, so I'm trying.
Yeah. I'd like to see the chronic absenteeism go down to at least 15%.
So we're
It's hard.
working on it, and what we've been looking at, Woodland has actually got the best rating. We're the second best, believe it or not, in the school I just named off. But they're far ahead of us. They're like at 11.7 or 11.8, which is actually the state goal.
Yeah.
One of their processes, though, which is something we've done about a dozen years ago or so, is they have appeals committees. So they said, I read it again today, if you hit 19 absences, you automatically lose credit at the high school, and you have to go before an appeals committee and present your evidence, in which case you could then lose your credit. And then you were talking about Amity to me.
Amity does, it's 6 for a half year, 12 for a full year, you automatically lose credit. And when we were talking to the principal from Amity at that conference we had gone to, he was saying it was a rough couple of years in the implementation. He said, but then students began to learn that they have to come to school. Even today, one of our staff members' daughters goes to Amity, and I guess she was not feeling well, but she's like, Mom, I have to go, I'm gonna hit that 6 on my half year.
So there's, I hate to do this, but you know, it's what do we really want as a community, right? Do we want to have those scores that are down at 12 or 13% and then hammer the kids with the potential of losing credit, or do we want to be a little bit more individualized as we currently are and have a little bit higher numbers? If you look at the numbers, we're second highest out of all those schools. Some of the schools I named are 29%, 28%, 24%. Not great by any school means. It's what do we want, and then the other piece again is they are separating those schools out. So when you look at the graduation rate, it hurts our graduation rate because all those students that are 18 to 24 who shouldn't be going anywhere are counted every year, staying back. And as these numbers get higher and higher at the high school, which they're going to every year, we're going to be adding more and more students. That is just going to hurt our graduation rate more and more and more and more as time goes on. Yes.
So what are they doing differently that we're not? Setting aside a separate school, like what?
They have a separate school code, right?
They do. If you have to have a separate school code with the state, it's what we have to do.
How did they get that?
We can apply, it's not that big a deal, it's just, it was a big decision to make. And most of your higher, better performing schools were not doing that. I think it's become such a numbers game now with the data, and that's why, you know, I was not aware that Woodland has now done that.
Yes.
It almost
So-
feels like a first step to like regionalizing that separate school. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? That all of us little towns are trying to provide services for 18 to 24-year-olds. And that seems like such a logical place to do some shared experiences across towns.
So it's something we need to consider. I was against it before, but if they're all doing it, I guess we have no choice.
Okay. PE, the state standards, I was just reading that the state overall is doing a poor job reaching the standards. Where are we in that? I didn't see anything in our report of how we are with the state standards.
I have the data. Okay. So right now, this past year, we had 46.6% of our students who were taking the assessment, which basically is our freshmen are passing it. We've been teetering back and forth anywhere 49 down to that 46.6. So our goal on the back end for that is to get it at least up to 50 for the PE. For the sake of time, we include like 3 pages of data, so we go through it all.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, that's an issue of the whole country,
I
especially
agree.
the obesity rate, which I'm sure that the children who would be considered obese are not passing any of the tests. But they may, but, you know, I'm just generalizing. You know, and that obviously causes more health issues for the whole country.
I agree. So our PE teacher, we have a newer PE teacher who's actually for Southern Connecticut, was the PE Teacher of the Year when he graduated last year. He's with us now. He's presented at national conferences. He has a comprehensive program for the freshmen, and they're really starting to start plugging away now on all that preparation. So a couple people will take the assessment. He's been going slowly as he's trying to build up students in the PE, the assessment center. That's the main focus, starting right the first.
But I also think another key is, and this has been my mantra for years, is the vertical articulation with PE. You can't expect a child in 7th and 8th grade to fail, then all of a sudden we expect them to be a freshman and sophomore and pass the test. There's got to be coordination down to the middle school and the elementary school with the PE piece.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we do that.
Well, we're working as far,
Articulation with the PE teachers from kindergarten all the way up to 12.
well, with the elementary, with their assessment, we've done pretty well. In the middle school, yeah, it's improved. But it would be good to bring them all together and talk about the levels and the expectations.
I'm thinking that, as you've talked about the 5-year curriculum cycle, that
There'll be PE as well.
Part of that, and that should give us.
Well, it's going to be social studies and science is what we're looking at, K-12. We did start out with an outline draft of it, but it was not very clearly articulated on the website last year. But now with getting a 5-year cycle, which not for nothing, folks, it had never been done here. I'm sorry, it hadn't been. It's been through, a lot of years. But at least we're finally on the track.
I think that would be great for us in terms of budget too, being
Yeah.
able to anticipate when there would be resource classes. Any other questions?
I just, I'm a huge advocate of the cooperative work. So where do we stand with that? As far as I know, last time we were thinking there was a way to kind of implement it or even share sessions or.
So 2 things have to happen in order to even determine if that's possible. Is number 1, the kids all have to sign up for their courses, and then we have to make a really educated guess, more especially about the 8th graders and what courses they're going to take, to determine if there's any way that I could free somebody up in order to do that. We've been losing people year after year after year after year. I'm not confident that we're going to have the staff to do it, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. I think it could be a part-time position, and I do have staff that are interested in that, which then would result in opening of a part-time position if we had to go that route. But the budget process is not done. I don't know if the funding's there. The budget that was adopted did not include that at this point. So I guess we'll have to see A, what happens with the budget, B, how many kids sign up for what particular courses, and if it allows us to use a teaching time to do that.
I'm hoping with innovative scheduling, we have 550 kids. I'm hoping with innovative scheduling that a person could be freed up for that afternoon. Let's see what happens. I think
we did lose the science teacher, right? So
Right.
It takes 5 teaching periods away that are dedicated, 4 with labs, that are completely dedicated to the library media, so that those kids have to go somewhere.
If there's not a special certification for the CWE position, or is there? And that you have some teachers that if the schedule allowed, they would get the certification?
Yes, there is a special certification, so you have to be certified, and then there's 3 special courses you have to take, and the state will grant you upon completion, and obviously doing all the courses, that particular certification. I ended up taking actually 3 years ago, 2 out of the 3, just so I understood the legal aspects of it, and we really need to follow that. We're going to be putting ourselves in huge risk and liability should somebody get hurt from one of these experiences, if we were just to place them out without following proper paperwork and standards. There's buckets of jobs that kids can do, even buckets of internships or job shadows based on their age. And if you put a kid that's 16 and something that they're not supposed to be doing from 16 according to the state of Connecticut, and they get injured, God forbid something else happens to them, we're going to be liable.
Yeah, they'd have to have the
To
certification.
do that. Believe me, I want those kids to go out and experience the things they need to experience now while they're young to make these decisions. I just don't think, I'm not going to put the district in jeopardy.
Or students. I love the graphics and the vision of the graduate and how that's being articulated all the way down. Keep going, go all the way down to preschool.
No, we're going there. I'm gonna tell you about, we're
We
gonna,
talked about it in PETA.
Yeah.
So it was a really good meeting, you know, Ms. Rebecca did a good job expressing it, and then I was able to chime in and stuff a little bit about what it's like at the high school to go through that process. And that's another one, right? You have this outside organization come in and look at you. But we definitely have a whole bunch of experts at the high school that would be able to help the other schools should we go that route. And again, their point when we went to the meeting was that that would be the strategic plan. You know, this process is your strategic plan. What are you going to do? And then we do have reports that we have to give 1, 3, 5 years after this about what we're doing and how we're progressing along the way. Because they don't expect, you know, between a 2-year period that you finish it. It's just, they want to see the progress between when they came first time, the second time, and making sure they progress.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
okay, well done.
Moving to the consent agenda, I'd like to make a motion to remove item A1, the meeting minutes from the regular Board of Ed meeting from the consent agenda.
Second.
Take a vote on that. All in favor? Keep seven. Now I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
The motion to approve the consent agenda with item
A1.
A1 removed.
Second?
All right, all in favor? 7-1. And then items removed from the consent agenda. Just for that, I wanted to clarify the section under board subcommittees, just that the structure of the committees would be reviewed over the year, not the assignments themselves. As we had talked about looking at what other districts are doing.
Right.
and how other committees are.
Yes.
All right, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes with that correction.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
7-0. All right, discussion and possible action. Someone from the Facilities and Transportation Committee want to give a summary of item A?
Yeah, I could do that. So Mr. O'Rourke came to us in the facilities meeting, looking to set up a committee or some sort of group of people that would take middle school basketball courts and have them dedicated and to the student that passed away last year. It was a whole presentation we have. I don't know if you want Mr. O'Rourke to run through the quick piece again, but I think it's a great idea. And once the committee's in place, I believe we would come back with naming and outlines and all of that.
Dr. Compton, do you want to, Mr. O'Rourke, share anything?
I just like, you know, like I said, this kid was really into basketball, and when I attended his funeral, and as Mr. O'Rourke were there together, and when I heard the parents talk about, you know, the eulogy and what this child meant as far as the basketball hoops with his dad and different things, it's just, I think it's a way to remember his memory in such a way. He was a 7th grader. I just think it's a way to make this basketball court area come alive. I think the suggestion of maybe adding benches and other kids' names or whatever, that'd be okay as well. But I really feel the basketball court area, that it would be justified to name it after him. I think now, even as the board approves it, we also have to go to the town level as well. anything you want to say, Keith?
Yeah.
You did a nice job on this.
Through the chair? So what I'm looking for is permission to move forward with creating this committee that could plan out the space in Grayson's honor. Open to ideas to potentially allow other people who need healing to be a part of that process as well. And what that looks like exactly, we'll see. That's what the committee is for. To Dr. Compton's point, I think that there's a little bit of overlap. Board policy has naming for both in the building and outside on the property. Town ordinance from a couple of years ago, through my interpretation of the town ordinance, gives Board of Select Persons a role in naming out of the building facilities as well. So I'm just looking to do this and do this right in honor of one of our students who is extremely worthy, and I know that there have been other worthy people in the past, but my role in this current time and space is to speak for Grayson Leondo, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I just had a question about the proposal, because there was, you know, the honoring of him and naming in his memory, and also some improvements to the space.
Yeah.
So what is the timeline of the two?
So the short-term timeline is to put some signage. Well, the timeline is to form this committee. Then the committee creates the timeline. And I've been in communication with the family since the beginning of Grayson's, you know, illness, and I've spoken with the family throughout the course of this school year. I think they very much want to be a part of doing something that perpetually can honor their son. And my vision of what we could do out there is to have a combination of some sort of fund that's created, which can support improvements in that area over time. In terms of timeline, that area needs a lot of work. It's been given no love for 25 years. It's the original blacktop. The backboards they're rusting, and the fence is actually in pretty good shape, but the bleachers are subpar. There are a bunch of things that we could do in the short term that I think price tag wise we would be able to raise money for. There's no plan or intention on my end to have any of this funded by money that we would budget within the board, or even to ask the town for money. I think that this would be an effort to see what could be established in terms of a trust that will fund this, donations. When we built the fire pit outside, I didn't build anything. It was completely donated, $30,000 project. So I'm looking to replicate that process of finding people that have a vested interest in our community. If we're able to do this right, I think that space could become a central point for people to gather and enjoy time with family and friends, and enjoy the act of just shooting a hoop with a loved one and spending that time, in addition to upgrading our facility for use during the school day. But this is a public space, and I think that a lot of people could get a lot of great use and enjoy it, and I'd like to do it in this former student of ours' name. So in terms of, to answer your question, I think the short term is to form the committee, formalize a name that we think is an appropriate name for the space, have a plan for signage, have a plan to open it and to cut the ribbon and to officially name that space. I think those are some reasonable and reachable short-term goals for timeline. I think longer timeline is resurfacing it, looking at the backboards, coming up with a cyclical plan on improving it as a community, and trying to do this all with, you know, goodwill and of the community and people donating time and funding for it. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you.
I have moved that for board policy 7551 to allow Mr. O'Rourke to begin the process of starting the planning committee that will name the Seymour Middle School basketball courts in memory of Grayson Leondo.
Second.
Did I write this down?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
Abstention.
Yes, I just put this together for you all to review again. We need to work on how you want those goals to state and which ones you definitely want in there. So I just want you to review them. Also, I would like to ask you to consider having a board liaison, to have 2 for each school. Something we've talked about over the years, but maybe if you have a preference, you could give it to the board chair, but I think it would be nice for each of you to decide you want to be. We've got 4 schools here. So something to think about. As far as the Board of Education goes, just review these, just come down and reach a consensus on which ones you really, with focusing on and work on statements. So that's what I wanted to share.
So we'll see this on future agenda.
Yes, yes. We're going to have a strategic planning meeting on March the 2nd before the board meeting. We're going to have dinner again, and dinner will be between 4:30 and 5. We invite all you board members. So we'll have a working session.
Next, we have the information. Any questions there? Comments? Board of Education comments and superintendent report. Under the chairman's comments, I just want to commend our neighbors with Oxford High School. Last Wednesday, I was able to attend a program that they offered, and we heard from Sora Vigorito, who was a Holocaust survivor. She survived experimentation in Auschwitz, and now in her 80s is a therapist. And it was a living history. It was a very hopeful story about how she struggled, and then through her faith is living a life where she's thriving. So it was really a meaningful presentation of our students. So I wanted to turn it out for offering that. Any other board member comments? All right, Dr. Compton?
Yeah, I just want to quickly say that the Seymour football banquet was really outstanding. Yesterday, it was from 1 to about 3:30. It was held in Stratford. Our kids really were so proud, and the Wildcat Kickoff Club just did an amazing job. And I was glad to be there. I was very proud of all of them. So it was really a nice program. So I'll pass that down. I want to let you know that the posting of the principal's position for Chatfield-Lopresti has been done now. It went through the union first, and the next step is to be posted on the website, and it is. Went out for the state. So the other thing I want to let you know that, yeah.
What's the deadline for the applications on that?
We didn't put a deadline yet.
Oh, you did not?
No.
Open until filled.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Open until filled.
So the other thing that we're going to be doing is the posting of a food service director. I did do a little research with Region 16. They do something different. They hire a specialist outside. They pay them $27,000, and then they have somebody else within the district that helps do the job of whatever. But we do want to post our Director of Food Services, Cindy Brooks, is upset. Has done an outstanding job of 33 years. The other thing I want to mention is that we have been granted with the data dashboard with Linkit. We've been selected to be a pilot program. One of my former colleagues that was a supervisor under me, she works with the Linkit program, and so they've decided with Seymour that we're getting this data free. So I think that's pretty amazing. I just want to say thank you to the Linkit program. Another thing in regards On February the 20th, we have the SCAPA superintendent's meeting, and we're going to host it here in Seymour. Also, in regards about the accreditation with looking at as being with NESAC to be a district-wide, which I think is something that we need to consider. The application is due like the end of February, so I'd like permission from you all if we can look into it. We might not be selected in the first because who knows, they're going to take a few, but if not the second year, but we're going to try. Yeah.
If you do get in this year, I believe there's a discount, there was some kind of discount built in from the asset.
So we're going to try, so we'll see what happens. So I just want your permission on that. Another thing, we're going to be working with the high school with Jeremy. He's in the group of the social media class. We're going to be doing a video about Seymour Public Schools in which you all could show at the Board of Finance meeting and to showcase the school. We also, the school district also kind of want to do a question and answer, but I'll work with you all about how you would like that done. But the video we're going to prepare with all 4 schools. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I also want to meet with each of the 4 schools with their leadership teams to talk about vision of the graduate with the little ones as well with the leadership group. And like Paul said, the PDAC meeting went really well, but I think it'd be nice from a superintendent's group for me to have I used to have student groups, student voice, and I think with the little ones to have representatives all the way up would be a nice way too. But I think Jeremy and them are also, as we said, are going to do a video. So I think it's going to be really good. So, like I said, it's been a busy time. And that's it. Thank you.